Hello students, welcome to Notebook. You might have seen tigers at a zoo or during a wildlife safari if you are lucky. Tigers are very difficult to spot and harder to tame because they belong to the cat family and are ferocious by nature. Did you know that a tiger can consume 80 pounds of meat at a time? We know that tigers attack humans and some of them are man-eaters. None of us would dare to go too close to a tiger's cage at a zoo, let alone tame a tiger. However, a family tamed a tiger found in the Tarai jungle near Dehradun. We'll find out about this tiger, but let us first learn a little about our author. Our story for today, A Tiger in the House, is written by Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is an Anglo-Indian writer who lives in Dehradun. His writings are set in small towns at the foothills of the Himalayas. They reveal his love for the simple life in the mountains. Some of his famous books are A Room on the Roof, A Flight of Pigeons, and the Rusty series. Bond has received the Sahitya Academy Award in 1992 for the novel Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra, the Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. Let us now begin with the story. One day, the narrator's grandfather discovered a tiger cub in the Tarai jungle. The cub was 18 inches long and he was hiding among the roots of the banyan tree. The narrator's grandfather brought the cub home and began to raise him in the house. The grandmother named the tiger cub Timothy. In his early days, Timothy was only given milk, but soon they changed his diet because he could not digest milk. He began to eat raw mutton, cod liver oil, and then pigeons and rabbits. Timothy had two companions to play with, Toto, the monkey, and small mongrel Puppy. Toto was very mischievous and he teased Timothy by pulling his tail and then climbing up the curtains when Timothy became angry. Surprisingly, Timothy was afraid of the mongrel puppy at first. He would try to hit the puppy with his front paws and then run away and keep a safe distance. Gradually, he became friendlier towards the puppy and even allowed him to crawl onto his back. The young tiger developed a habit of stalking or following the people who played with him. He loved to stalk the narrator. He flashed the narrator a crafty or cunning look with his glittering eyes. Then he crept closer and closer to the narrator and suddenly grabbed his feet. Finally, he rolled over on his back, kicked with delight, and pretended to bite his ankles. Timothy was still young, but he was already the size of a full-grown golden retriever dog. The narrator used to take him out for walks, alarming the people on the road. Timothy used to love resting on the long sofa in the drawing room. He snarled or threatened anyone who told him to get off the sofa. He also cleaned himself by scrubbing his face with his paws like a cat. Timothy used to sleep in the cook's quarters. Grandmother used to predict that one day Timothy would eat up the cook, Mahmood. Timothy grew silent and unfriendly when he was 6 months old. He followed cats and pet dogs. He also stole and ate hens from the poultry house. He had to be chained up more often. Timothy also began to stalk or follow their cook, Mahmood, around the house. The narrator's family was afraid that he would attack the cook or some other member of the house. The narrator's grandfather transferred him to the zoo in Lucknow. He reserved a first-class compartment for just himself and Timothy when he took him to Lucknow. The zoo authorities were very happy to receive a well-fed and fairly well-behaved tiger. Grandfather went to visit Timothy at the Lucknow Zoo 6 months later. He went straight to Timothy's cage. He found that Timothy was now fully grown and had a magnificent striped coat. Grandfather called Timothy and greeted him. The tiger came near the bars and allowed Grandfather to stroke his forehead and to tickle his ears. Like old times, Grandfather smacked the tiger's mouth when he tried to growl. The tiger began to lick Grandfather's hand. He was frightened by a leopard who snarled at him from the next cage. Grandfather shooed the leopard away. Visitors at the zoo watched Grandfather's reunion with Timothy in surprise and alarm. The zookeeper was new to the place and he had never seen Grandfather. He did not know that Grandfather had given his pet tiger to the zoo authorities. So, he questioned Grandfather about what he was doing. Grandfather told him that he was petting his pet tiger, Timothy, and asked him to put Timothy in some other cage. The leopard in the next cage was frightening him. Grandfather went to tell the superintendent of the zoo to transfer Timothy to another cage. He could not find the superintendent, so he went back to Timothy's cage to bid goodbye to him. Grandfather was stroking and slapping Timothy for 5 minutes when he saw another zookeeper staring at him in surprise. He recognized the zookeeper. He had been there when Grandfather had brought Timothy to the zoo 6 months back. He told the zookeeper to transfer Timothy to another cage. The alarmed zookeeper disclosed that Grandfather was stroking a different tiger, which was very dangerous and had been trapped in the hills a month ago. Timothy had died of pneumonia 2 months ago. Grandfather was stunned and speechless. He looked at the tiger, which was still licking his arm very fondly. He decided not to believe the zookeeper for the time being. He slowly withdrew his hand from the cage. Then he bade good night to the tiger, calling it Timothy, and walked out of the zoo. With that, we come to the end of our video lesson on A Tiger in the House. Grandfather could have been severely injured if the tiger had made up his mind to attack him. But the tiger responded to his affection and licked him. Why do you think the tiger behaved in such a manner? Discuss with your friends and note down your observations. See you soon in our other videos. Till then, happy learning.